Hello Internet, my name is Lave. I hope you're staying safe and well. So another week and another Netflix documentary. This week I watched The Last Dance, which takes a comprehensive look at the Chicago Bulls basketball team and their meteoric rise in the 90s, talking to the owners, coaching staff and players who made it happen, including a little known player that you might have heard of called Michael Jordan. So I wasn't sure how into this I was going to be because I never really followed or played basketball as a kid. I wasn't really tall enough to play. I like to say that I'm just under 6 foot, but my friends like to say that I'm just over 5, but that's neither here nor there. I obviously knew who the Chicago Bulls were. I even owned some of their merchandise, like I had a Chicago Bulls cap because I really liked their logo, and I had a couple of Michael Jordan t-shirts. That shows the reach of their brand. And of course I played NBA Jam on the SNES or Mega Drive. He's on fire! What a game that was. But I can't say that I'm a big follower of basketball, so I didn't really know anything about this story. But it's a really fascinating one, made more interesting in this documentary by charting the last season with their coach who coined the phrase The Last Dance, whilst rewinding the clock back to look at all of them at the start of their careers and how they won their first 5 championships. On top of that, I also liked that each episode would devote a bit of time to a single person, be that Jerry Krause, the general manager of the Chicago Bulls at the time, who kind of put everyone into a corner by saying that their last season was their last season. Episode 2 focuses in on Scottie Pippen. The next would be Dennis Rodman. The next would be their coach Phil Jackson. I think even Steve Kerr gets a bit in episode 7. And then the rest of it, I would say 80% of the rest is all about the big man Michael Jordan. As well as showcasing just how good he was on the court, and he was phenomenal, it's also a deep dive into his personality off the court too, in his younger days to his present retired days, discussing what motivated and drove him. It's really quite revealing. I've always thought of him as a really down-to-earth, kind of mellow, charismatic guy, maybe because of Space Jam, which does get covered in this, but with a super clean-cut image. I mean, they do talk about his gambling in this, but it also points out that it was all kind of overblown by the media just to try and find some dirt on him. I'm talking about the way that he treated his teammates and his colleagues, the way that he would goad them and trash talk them to raise their game, and the stuff he did to motivate himself. It's almost petulant. He always does it in a respectful way, but he holds grudges and vendettas against people and uses it to fire himself up. And I guess that's what sets him apart, when you combine that laser focused drive with ruthless, relentless ambition and motivation to succeed in sport and financially, with his raw talent and ability, then you can't really argue with him. I mean, his teammates even concede that, yeah, he could be a bit of a jerk, but he also made them better. I think it's also fair to say that he had a bit of a God complex. He refers to himself as Black Jesus at one point, but you also see his softer, reflective and more emotional side when he talks about his relationship with his father or his security guard and the way that he mentored Kobe Bryant, which was very poignant considering his recent passing. The documentary overall I felt was quite well balanced, with everyone able to voice their opinions. For example, at the beginning, I totally felt like they were painting Jerry Krause out to be the villain of the piece, but towards the end, there's a sense of all of them kind of letting bygones be bygones and recognising that all of them had a part to play in their dynasty. So that's my thoughts on The Last Dance, and pause the video if you want to take a closer look at my enjoyment tracker now. Like I say, I'm not a basketball fan like at all, but I really enjoyed this. I think it does what all good sports documentaries do. It's got a very good story to tell with a wealth of archive footage, brilliant production designs. I'm even thinking about downloading the opening title music as gym motivation, and it talks to all of the people involved, including the opponents too. It's definitely worth a watch if you haven't seen it. All episodes are available right now on Netflix if you haven't seen it. If you have, let me know what you thought in the comments down below. And as always, thanks very much for checking out this review. I really do appreciate it. If you can, give it a like, and don't forget to share the Lave. He's on fire!
Subscribe.